It's Champagne Wishes with Abby and Martha as they'll dive into their lives, relationships, current events, and host guests from time to time to talk with and to learn from, and to build a stronger connection with their community. They'll be stripping away the pretty filters and will be bringing you everyday realness along the way. And here they are, Abby and Martha.
And then it was like,
you know what's kind of crazy, Abby? I could be at this weight and eat whatever I want. And I'm still at this weight, but this is a horrifying weight. So my body likes this weight because I can do and eat whatever I want.
See, that's where I was
at weight, which is
December. That's where I was in December. And then I put on some after December. I'm like, oh, so now she wants to take it up a notch? We can't do that. We can't do that. All right, clinky.
Clinky.
Nutrishy.
Yes. So these drinks we have today are from Rise Nutrition. They're Herbalife tea with usually we do a shot of collagen, right?
Yeah, shot of collagen in it, and the watermelon tea.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be calorie deficit after you drink it. Mm-hmm. Like you're supposed to burn so many calories
80
from
calories.
drinking it that then you don't really count it.
Yep.
However, I think when it comes to our intermittent fasting, it's gonna be a no-go.
Right. We can't drink one of these until you start. So intermittent fasting, why don't you tell people about that? Because you've been doing that lately, right?
Well, we both started that as well. So the health journey. Okay, let's say too. This podcast is all about health and wealth.
Woo!
Yay! Oh,
yes. Yeah.
And along with that, in preparation for that, we went and had a body assessment test done, which we'll get into that later. And if you've never had one done, I highly recommend you don't do it.
Boy, was that a big wake up call for Martha.
Oi, that is the word of the day. Oi. Oh, yikes. Anyway, so intermittent fasting. You and I, when we first met, definitely clicked on the health scene and that we can go really hard on a extreme diet. We kind of like extreme stuff and we like it for 30 to 60 to 90 days. And then we're like, oh, we got where we wanted to. And then it's back to normal life, which actually I've been told isn't the way to do it.
I know. Well, clearly it's not, because she and I have both, so we had a little journey with the HCG diet last year. Oh boy, did we have great results, but...
And for anyone that doesn't know, HCG, it's a monitored diet program where you go and speak with a doctor. You have to have blood work done, blood pressure taken, you weigh in, and what they give you is HCG, which is a hormone that women produce when they are pregnant.
Right.
And that hormone is supposed to help in speeding up the metabolism and kind of...
basically ridding your body of... the ability to absorb fat, I guess.
Yeah, it's supposed to help with that.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, too, is that while you're taking HCG, you're allowed, like 800 calories a day?
Yeah, 800 calories. And then they also help you with some sort of curbing your appetite pill thing.
Right, appetite suppressant.
Yeah, suppressant. And it helps. But the moment you get off of that, so Abby and I had fantastic results in the beginning because... well, you're eating 800 calories a day, giving yourself
each other.
Yeah, and doing it together. So that's really what we're about, trying to get on a healthier lifestyle going forward from here. So we've got our baseline from the body assessment test. But the HCG, back to that really quick, it is a super quick fix, but it doesn't stay. The results do not stay. So from our body assessment, what we saw today, we have gained everything back from HCG plus some.
We got rid of our quarantine. It was cute when people said quarantine 15. Mine was more like quarantine 20.
Yeah,
I'm an overachiever. So we got rid of the quarantine 20.
Yeah.
And you got rid of your quarantine 15. And then after that, when the weight started coming back on, I hopped back onto... God, am I allowed to say it? I'm looking at Steve. Weight Watchers. We got back on Weight Watchers. And that's always been a very successful tool for me as well. But they've changed and modified that. Unfortunately,
it's very
I feel
confusing.
Like I'm like an old dog that can't learn new tricks. Like I loved Weight Watchers when I did it multiple times in the past, and they changed everything up, and now it doesn't feel the same. So I didn't follow that.
What I don't like about Weight Watchers is that they have foods that are 0 points. How can something be 0 points? And I think it's because they're trying to steer you to those low calorie foods, high fiber. But to me, nothing is 0 calories. So I struggle with that. If you ate 17 bananas, how are they 0? Well, that doesn't make any sense.
I think that's part of their game too, is that they don't tell you actually what the calories are. You just get used to a point system. So if you ever want to deviate from Weight Watchers, now you're going to start all over again if you're trying to learn, counting calories and that type of thing. So went through that process. And then you and I have a couple of times, we do our walking kicks.
Yes.
And we start telling each other we're going to get it going. We're going to get it going. And we don't.
But every time, last week we did really well. We did walk like 3 or 4 times.
4 times. And we got in about 14,000 steps on those days. And that was kind of our blast off. And then, like I was saying at the beginning of the podcast, serendipity, like these things started falling into place.
So what is the first, so we've decided we're going to do this, right? So what are we kicking off to start the whole?
We're kicking off a booty boot camp. If you guys aren't friends with us on Facebook or Instagram, you can always friend us and we'll invite you into that private group because it's private because we are sharing
some personal information
and things we just don't need everybody to see.
No.
So anyway, we're going to do this booty boot camp, and that was born from just having a conversation with a woman that she owns a salon that I go to, and I was just asking some questions about her fitness because she's got her body's banging, she just looks amazing. I'm like, what do you do? And then she told me that she's a personal trainer, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And then came home, kind of chatted with you a little bit, had some light bulbs go off, and I reached out to her and said, hey, if we were able to get a small group of women together, would you be willing to train us outside somewhere twice a week? And she was so in. It's so much fun. So in. And now we've got 30 women in our group. Mm-hmm. We're starting next week. And then do you want to talk about the other things that came from that conversation?
Yes. So we found out through, I'm trying to remember now what our connections.
Oh, Carrie.
So Carrie
said she's going to do a nutrition part.
Yes.
And she gets all of her supplements
it's from Supplement Superstore. Mm-hmm. And our producer, Steve Serrano, also uses the supplements at Supplement Superstore. So the connection was made there. It was pretty neat to see that. So we're excited to get in there and to learn about their supplements and use that. Carrie, our trainer, is going to help us with the meal portion. And then we'll talk to the folks over at Supplement Superstores to get that piece of the pie all together. So it kind of wrapped it up in a big
pretty bow.
It was meant to be.
Was like, you guys have to go over here. There's a free body assessment that they do. And then I brought it up to you and you're like, oh my gosh, that's Steve. So
you know what she did to me? We're going to get these said drinks today. And what'd she do? She's like, we're headed over to Supplement Superstore. So it's like, oh, cool. Let's go check it out. She goes, for the body assessment. I'm like, you can't do that to me. Just throw me. Actually, she knows me because if I would have said, yeah, let's get up tomorrow, I would have been sick or something. I don't want to know these numbers. Who
the hell does?
Whew. So just to kind of share with you a little bit about our numbers here. So I'm 80% water, or 80 pounds of me is water.
Okay, so this is hilarious. So
I like that number.
I like 80. I like 82, but I also want to just circle back to, we talked about this and I was like, we got to give him the numbers. And we've gone back and forth for the last few hours. Like, do we do this? And you know what? We do everything all in.
Yes,
we are all in and we are going to do it. And we are going to embarrass ourselves today, people.
That's right. But this is our baseline. We can only go down from here.
That's right.
Down.
It's all downhill. Actually, no, it's all uphill and it's going to be hard as hell.
It is going to be hard as hell, but our numbers are going to go down.
So you have 80 pounds of water.
I'll just run through my, I don't want to go ding, 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 like a comparison thing. I'll just run through my numbers first.
No, it's not a competition because you win already. Shut up.
I don't. Yeah. Okay, I'm 80 pounds water, dry lean mass 29.8, body fat 63.5 pounds. You guys can do the math on what that all equals.
Cute, you're not doing it.
No, I'm not doing my whole body weight. That's just horrifying. You can do math if you wanted to rewind the tape, if you really care.
You know there's going to be someone that's like, let me do that.
Yeah, I know. And go ahead and we can cry together. That's fine. Yeah. So the lean body mass is 110 pounds. And my basal metabolic rate, so the amount of calories I burn daily without any extra exercise or anything, is 1,454 calories. Yeah. So there I am. So what's cool about this is at Supplement Superstores, they say come in every 2 weeks and get your body assessment done. And between that 2 weeks, and I think Carrie can second this from what you've told me, don't weigh in between there. No. Because each day I know that it's not our friend. And you could be, heavier with my 80 pounds of water. Maybe I weigh more on my water one day, and I don't want to be discouraged because I've done that before. And I'm like, man, I'm just going to quit.
I've
deprived myself and I'm really mad now. So I'm going to, after this, believe me, I don't want to be back on the scale. So I won't be for 2 more weeks. I say in 2 weeks, let's go back and see where we are.
And I'm actually going to hide my scale in my house because I know, what is it about people tell you, don't get on the scales. Don't look. It'll frustrate you. It makes total sense that some days, if you're working out and you're building your muscle mass, you might weigh more just from your muscle mass growing. And then you go and you get on those scales and they haven't moved or they've gone up a little bit. It's totally demotivating, but your jeans feel better. They're looser.
Right. And that's what Carrie was telling you. Don't
do that. I still always do it. So I'm going to take my scales and hide them.
Yep.
So that I can't look at them. And then the only time I'm ever going to weigh in is when I go back here.
Yeah.
And have them tell me. Which, first off, what kind of voodoo is this?
I know.
They're telling me that my right arm has more weight than my left arm, which would make sense because I use my right arm more.
My right arm's more too.
Yeah, and so is my leg. I'm like, that leg's a little bit bigger on the right side, but I've always done more with my right side. But I'm like, again, what the hell kind of voodoo is this?
I don't know. And you stand and you hold your arms out with these sensors. So and I'm not discounting this assessment at all or hating on it, but it is a little bizarre that you can find this information out from doing a hayah and standing there. Okay. I just don't get it, but clearly they know what they're doing and I don't. So I'm all about it. I'm going to believe in it.
I'm going to have faith. And it makes sense that my right side would be heavier and that I would have, because I use it more. So there's more muscle there. But, so anyway,
let's hear it, Abby.
Okay. So my total body water is 90.2 pounds.
That's so awesome.
Which
you're hydrated. He asked you if you were really hydrated.
And you know what? It kind of took me back to my acupuncturist. So I went and saw an acupuncturist a couple months ago. And I was telling him why I was going there, which was for, just being, I was wiped out when I went there. I actually bawled like a baby when I got on that table. And he started telling me what was going on with my body without even touching me. It was incredible and weird at the same time. But he was saying, you have too much water in your body. He's like, you're like a camel and you're storing all of this water.
I remember you told me that.
And his analogy for me was really cute. If he and I were both on an island, I would live longer than him because I have a lot more fat and a lot more water than he does. I'm like,
that's rude to compare.
That helps. But anyway, so I'm a camel and I have 90 pounds of water on me. My dry lean mass is 33.3 pounds. 3 is a great number in numerology, so I'll take it. And then my body fat mass is 90.2.
Restoring excess energy. That's what that's called. The next one goes excess.
Okay, so body fat is 90.2, and I'm just going to say it, you guys. But let's all keep in mind that I had a full outfit on.
You didn't take off your jacket. I was mortified. I was like, she's going to weigh more with that jacket. You need to strip down,
take my keys off. I didn't do any of that.
And they wouldn't let us go to the bathroom.
And I had to pee like a racehorse. We just talked about it. I'm full of so much water. He wouldn't let me pee. So my weight was 213.7 pounds.
Okay, great.
Yeah. I call that the Deuces Club.
Why?
Okay. Because I'm in the Deuces Club. It is a proud place to be. Okay?
It is. Hey, you know
I am
what?
200 plus.
Okay, but you know what? You know what they say. You carry.
Thank you. Oh God.
I can't right now.
It's making me hot. It's making me hot, y'all.
Oh my gosh.
But this is what we're here for. Can
we stop for a second?
We can't look at each other. Okay, so we are. This is what we said we were. I still know I'm a pretty person. I know that. I'm just a fat, pretty person
Gosh, I can't even handle this right now. This is seriously very personal.
We had conversations about, okay, so when we do this podcast, we're going to be really real, right? Like Steve said in our intro, everyday realness, people. Yeah, that is what we are here for.
Cry. I just told you all.
Yeah, but you didn't give him the full number.
174. Okay, anyway.
You didn't.
I weigh that much, though. It's so scary.
You're my target weight. Yep. All right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Pull it together, Martha.
Let's get it together. Let's get it
so
together.
That was like, I mean, literally like one of
How
my
liberating was that?
We both just cried.
We did.
Yeah, it was fine.
We did. My husband tried to see, I stepped on the scales the other day and that asshole turned around to look. And I was like, no, you may not look and see
Mark
how much I weigh.
I don't even know that. Yeah.
Well, maybe we just won't tell him to listen to this one. We're going to pump it out there and be like, but don't listen.
There's no way I weigh that. Look, I still deny it. There's something wrong with the scale.
I do. I know
I'm
for
kidding.
sure.
Okay, so enough about this and fixating on this because this is not healthy to stare at this.
You know what?
Let's rip it out.
No, we need to keep the
So that's my motto. Get a little bit of sun-kissed tan. It makes me feel better, and it's actually, as joking aside, but it makes me feel better to have a little bit of color in that vitamin D just because we haven't had a lot of sun and it's been rainy, and just so that really has elevated my mood, and I do like doing that. I won't continue to tan for very much longer just because the natural sun will be, but it really has it not helped? I mean, it's something so... It's almost kind of embarrassing to admit in a way that I'm doing it, but it's the truth and it feels good.
I mean, there are not only countries, but Alaska, states within our own hemisphere. When you get up to the northern part of the hemisphere, people go and get under UV lights to be able to get in that vitamin D. There's something to be said for that. And we are coming out of one of the coldest winters we've experienced in like forever. It was negative 30, girl. So, yeah, I don't think it's anything to be ashamed about. Right. If people don't want to do it, they don't have to.
No, but it has helped.
We went together and we got it. First off, you got me on these teas.
I know.
Oh, my gosh. So you were dropping Marky and Mal off to school and stopped.
And on our way home, so friends of ours own Rise Nutrition, and it's right off Berry Road.
Which is like Herbalife products.
Yes, it is. So the teas. But you walk in and the staff is so friendly and they give you suggestions. And I'm like, I'm kind of stumped. I like this Starburst and the Gusher one, and the owner of Rise said, you got to try this watermelon. And I'm like, what? He's like, it tastes like a watermelon Jolly Rancher. Yeah. And we're hooked on them. Yep. So I mean, they're delicious, and they have appetite suppressant in them to help a little bit with that.
So we did the tea. You brought the tea, and then we went and tanned.
Yeah.
And then we took like a 20-mile walk. Yeah. And that kind of kicked it off. And I'm thankful that you did that, because I really did need that boost of just sunlight in my life. So we've gone a couple of times, and I'm super red right now because I just got done exposing some very personal stuff. But anyway, I know I'm really red.
I know. Me too. I was crying, but so we're excited to be, trying to kick off spring with a good, healthy lifestyle. And I just want to feel better. So I know there's other moms and other women out there that feel the same way we do. So sluggish. It's been a hard 18 months for a lot of us. We've gone to food for comfort. We've gone to a lifestyle that this is not the Martha I know. Okay. The Martha I know works out and takes care of herself, and I've slipped down and put every other priority above my health. And I think there are so many of us that can relate to that. And the way that I think Abby and I are going to be successful is keeping each other accountable, and then also building a community around us of women that want to do the same thing. So the accountability piece of it is huge.
It is.
Wouldn't you say?
You need a good high five every now and then.
You do.
And if we're all working together and meeting up. And so I find it really interesting. A couple of podcasts that I've listened to recently, which I started talking to you about it. One of them is just living such a toxic life, especially for women. So you and I, we aren't the best at eating, drinking, lifestyle. We're not. But at the end of the day, I also feel like there's something else playing a part here. And so there are hormone disruptors out there in life. So we're starting to also peel back that rabbit hole of information. The thing that stuck out to me was that we ingest enough microplastics a week to equal one credit card. And that is from the cleaning products we use, from pollution in the air, from the product, like my lip gloss, all of these different things that are playing a part in our body not being naturally hormonally balanced.
Right.
So, and I know that for a fact. Right. There is no way things are supposed to be. I'm 38 years old and I am way too young to feel this old.
I know. And I feel the same way.
So I think this is going to be that kickoff, but then I do want to dive further into finding out more about the products that we're using, the foods that we're using. And unfortunately, that means if you ever think about going organic or going down that route, it is so much more expensive, which I hate that. That is just not cool. Not cool. If you want to get healthy, you got to spend more money than you should have to. But anyway, so the toxic lifestyle that we're all living and aren't aware of. But then also, what was the other thing I wanted to talk about?
Well, I think the products, like you said, and then just the stress. So I think that's a big piece of it too. And working out is a natural way to lift your endorphins, to increase your serotonin, all of those things. And I haven't been doing that, and I haven't for a good year consistently. Right. So I think that's a big piece of it. But yeah, trying to live a little bit more toxic free. Moving our bodies. Did that trigger you?
It did. Thank you so much.
No problem.
That happens from time to time. But the other thing was about, especially for women and men too, to have those female connections and what that can do for you. Sanjay Gupta came out with a book here recently about the things that are most important for our brain health. And the number one thing is connection with other human beings. And my husband is my best friend. I'm with him all the time, but I need outside connections as well. So does he.
And think about how low we've been on that the last 18 months.
Yeah. So building a connection and a community with women to work out with, to everybody hold each other accountable, I think is also just going to skyrocket our success, our mood, all of that. So building that connection is always what I think of when I meet new people,
right?
And work and fun and play. It's so important.
Yep. And I think that keeps it light. So here's an example, something that happened to me today. So I was on my coaching call with a dear friend, and she's also my coach, my business coach. And she and I were talking about my numbers for the year. Okay. And I was very sad and just sort of like, I don't like thinking in those terms. Like, what do I have to do? I have to do this to achieve this. And then we shifted to, what are you doing? And I said, we started this, group of women. And she goes, wow. She goes, your excitement from how many of this do you need to do this? And like the math. And then I went to the connection piece of what I do and the organic and the relationship. And she's like, you just lit up. And it's like, because that's how my brain works. I don't think of it. You have to have both, just like we have to count calories and we can do the fun. So it is a balance of those two things. And it really can relate to what I just talked about on my call today with my coach. Funny. So yeah. So she's like, I can tell you don't really like talking about this, which would relate to the calorie counting, the macros, whatever that is that I don't like talking about or really focusing on. I'd rather go for a walk with Abby. That's fun to me. I'd rather go to a boot camp, but you have to have both, because if you work out, what did Carrie say? The rule 80-20. So you can't
Which
just
is also
go
business,
right?
By the way,
yes. And so it's
a great rule of thumb.
It is. It is. And so when I heard that today, I thought, man, yeah, that's the piece of it that I'm missing. If I make it fun for myself, then great. But I also need the accountability, which is the nitty gritty, the number of units, the volume. Same with calories, that kind of thing. So I found that. Kind of parallel.
It all went together. And that's been happening for us a lot in the last week while we've been talking about this. Like I said, it just keeps popping off.
It does.
To have put this together and reached out to women and for there to be so much excitement about it.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know the last time I had 30 people go let's do this within a 24-hour period. Like everyone's thirsty for it right now.
I think we are.
Great.
Yep.
And I would say this will be like the podcast number 1 of a series. We'll have to come up with a cute name for it. But we're going to have to check in with everybody throughout this process. So it's a 6-week long boot camp. I say we have another podcast around 3 weeks and then another one
at the end of it.
Yeah. So we
I love
can
that.
kind of check in, and maybe we can have our trainer come on, or maybe Tori from the supplement superstore. Maybe she'll want to come on as well, and we can kind of download on the upload.
Yeah, because it's all down and up from here.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we're excited to go on this journey. It is. It's going to be good. We're going to
bring you guys along for the ride. And if this inspires you in any way, shape, or form, I'm so excited. If you're anywhere within our vicinity, you're more than welcome to join us.
Yep. Just message us. Just message us on social media or
just reach out. Yeah. We'll find you. And if this is inspiring you in some other place of the world, I would love to hear from you guys as well.
Yeah,
that would be really exciting. So we can just build this energy up.
Yes.
Build it up.
Yes, that's what we've been needing. So.
All right. Well, clinky nutrition.
Clinky. I love it.
I love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.